Hey guys and girls, welcome back for another video and another interview again. Today I'm joined with Manraj. Now Manraj is actually, this is going to be an interesting one because he's not actually my mentee. He's actually, Joe is his mentor. So it's probably going to be me learning his story for the first time, just as it is for you guys. And it should be a very interesting conversation. So we're just going to jump straight into it. So thanks for coming down.
No worries, thank you.
I know you actually made a journey. I assumed for some reason he was from London. He's actually from Birmingham. So
yeah.
He's just travelled about, what, 2.5 hours?
2.5 hours.
Just for this interview. So I really appreciate that.
No, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Always, man, always. And you know why I really was excited for this interview? Because I can see your energy, you know, from your Instagram. You do a Monday motivation every single Monday.
That's it.
How many is it now? 40?
45, 46,
45,
I would say, yeah.
What made you want to do that?
It was just this crazy idea that I had. So I was really camera shy, but one of my main goals in life is just to be able to inspire people, is to be able to get them to take action and just change their mindset. Yeah. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I could just make a series of videos, but I kept putting myself off it. So I kept telling myself, I need the right camera equipment, I need to have this mic, the lighting needs to be perfect, I need to be dressed up for it. And as I made the first one, and I started to realize that people actually don't care about that sort of stuff. They care about what you're talking about, the value you're providing. And I remember the first one, I still watch it back to this day. And I'm all shaky, I'm nervous. I remember when I stopped hitting record.
And now you're natural.
And now that's it, yeah. So the camera loves me now. So so the main reason that I got into it was basically to be able to inspire people to change their mindset, just to get a different perspective on life, because everyone, the way I like to say it, is sleepwalking through life without even knowing it. So it's just kind of one of those wake-up calls that, this is a different perspective that you can look at, and hopefully I can impact, even if just one person. That's a huge deal for
Well, I'm
me.
sure you're doing more than that, to be honest, because you can get that energy, that what you're saying about inspiring people, motivating people, you can see that energy, you can feel that energy from the videos, from the general aura of what you're doing. And as you said, not sticking to it or not pushing yourself because this needs to be perfect. I was the same way before I did any of this, before I came to Astro, same exact way. So it's always taking action, right? So it's always taking that first step, just putting yourself out there. And what social media does, which I've found anyway, you'll be able to tell me if you've had the same, is gives you accountability.
100%.
Because you're putting yourself out there saying, I'm going to do this every week, or I'm going to do this every month, whatever it may be. And now you've posted it, now you feel obligated to do it, right?
Exactly.
And if more people could do that, because I know loads of people, I'm sure you probably get it as well, like, I wish I could do that, or I wish I could start doing posts like this, and it's like, just do it.
And I'm like, you can. There's nothing stopping you from doing that.
100%.
And like you said, the other reason that I do make the videos is I call it a selfish reason, is because it gives me accountability to myself. So everything that I talk about in the videos, it's either something I've experienced and been through and I've grown through it, or it's something that I need to practice myself, or I'm practicing at that time. But because, like you say, I've put it out there, there'll be times that I'm feeling down. We're all human. So there'll be times that I'll have failures, I'll be feeling negative. And I kid you not, I will go back and watch my own video, because I'm like, at that moment when I made the video, I had that passion. What I was talking about was, I don't script anything I say, I write the idea down and I just hit record and talk. So I'm like, if I had that passion back then, I can get it again.
It's like leaving a message to your future self, right?
Yeah, that's literally it.
Also kind of reminding yourself of not only, so like I post a lot of losses as well, or like messages for my future self, just like you were once in this position, whether that be good or bad. So then later when you're hopefully either on a positive and you say, oh look, I was actually on a negative at one point, or vice versa.
Exactly.
And I think it's a very powerful thing, and I commend you for doing it and taking that step, and I see it every single week.
Thank you.
And I hope to continue to see it every week. Maybe we get Tuesday soon.
We'll see, one day at a time. One day at a time.
But let's get into your trading. Let's get into your trading journey, because I know we were literally just speaking for a few minutes there before we started recording. But let's just go from the start, and we'll do like a fast track. I'm sure it'll be a faster version than what it actually was, but I'll let you go.
So I started trading in October 2018, so it's been just over a year now, and I got in quite an unorthodox kind of way. It wasn't that I was introduced by anyone, none of that kind of thing. I just had an interest that was sparked from a YouTube video ad. And it came up with the trading 212, and I was like, what is this stuff? Like, what is trading in the markets and Forex, and I had no idea. So I didn't even know how to get onto a chart.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to analyze a chart. I knew nothing about it. So I just kind of clicked that link. It took me onto the website, and I'm like, okay. And it's like, make an account, get a demo account for, you know, 10, 20,000 pounds or whatever. And I'm like, okay, cool. So I signed up, got onto a chart, and I'm like, okay, I have no idea what I'm looking at. So from there, I just got curious.
Yeah.
And one thing with me is when I get curious about learning something, I will go and try and find every single aspect of, you know, data to try and gain as much knowledge as I can about that certain topic. So I just started going on YouTube and just typing in Forex, how to trade Forex, how to learn Forex, you know, just how everyone else does.
That's right.
And one of the main pages that came up was Astro. And it was Sean and Nat's early videos, you know, their technical Tuesdays, of when they start, you know, with just the generic what a candlestick is, and then support and resistance, and I started getting into it from that. So time passed, and I'd watched every single one of their technical Tuesdays, and I knew it was advanced stuff then, but I was like, I'm going to constantly just keep watching these back and forth, because every single time I was picking up something new. And once I got into the market, I was actually very reserved. I, like a lot of people, didn't take much risk. So if I'd get into a trade and I'd lose it, I'd take an entire step back and be like, go and learn everything again, just to see what are you missing? Why have you lost that trade? And then a week or two passes, and I'm like, cool, let's go place another trade. And then if it's successful, I'm like, okay, why was that successful? And I tried to build on that.
So we say very strategic approach, and very sort of, the mindset was strong from the start, in a sense. Is that something you've always had, or is that something that you developed knowing what trading, you know, potentially could do? Because we always hear about the flip side, right? I've gone through that flip side. I wish I was more, you know, reserved and more, take a more smarter approch. But it's good to hear that, you know, people go through different journeys. Too often or not, we hear the journey of people having to blow accounts, right? So it's good to hear this. So is this something that you always had, or is this something you kind of instilled from the start, knowing that what trading could be? If that makes sense.
Yeah, so it's more, I mean, one of the first videos that I came across was risk management. And it's like, how do you manage your account to not lose the money that you've got? Now, don't get me wrong, I did actually overall lost more than I made at the beginning, just because I didn't have that education, I didn't have the knowledge basis, but it was good enough to not blow an account. I had that amount of discipline to not blow an account. And I think it's something that mindset-wise and personal development is something I've always been into. It's always just bettering myself. And I knew that rather than a 9-to-5 job, there is something bigger out there for me. Like, it didn't sit right with me that you work a certain number of hours a day for an extended period of time and you get the same paycheck. So you could absolutely work your ass off and you get the same paycheck, or you could sit and be a lazy bum and get the same paycheck. I'm like, something's not adding up here. So I'm like, you know, generally speaking, rule of thumb, the harder you work, or the smarter you work, I should say, the more you should earn.
That's right.
And I stumbled upon trading just by mistake, but it happened to be that thing that I wanted of the harder you work, the more you learn. So that got me interested in it, and I thought to myself, you know, after the couple of losses that I did have, I was like, I don't want these to put me off and me to completely go off trading now. Obviously that was right at the beginning, and that happened many times, you know, that I quit trading, it's not for me, you walk away. 2 weeks later you're back on the charts again, you know what I mean? So mindset wise it's always been there, but mindset wise for trading, that's something that I've had to build over time.
That's great to hear. That's great to hear. And obviously you've been on the program, what, 3-4 months now?
3-4 months.
And how are you finding it? I know that, you know, coming on to, was it a huge leap for you?
Massive, yeah. So I mean, my first funded account was by myself, so working my job. You know, I started off as an apprentice, so you know, just saving up from there, and I invested into my own account. And so my first funded account was about 500 quid. And going from that to a 25 grand account, all of a sudden I'm like, you know, the trades that I'd hold 100 pips, 200 pips, or try to hold for that long, my take profit would be like 10-15 pounds, and I'm like, wow, like I made 10-15 quid profit. This literally, I remember the first trade I placed, I had that within 3 seconds or something of it going to take, you know, into profit.
Huge mindset shift.
And I was like, whoa, should I close this now? And I'm like, well, actually no, because considering the account size,
that's right,
that profit means absolutely nothing. So I think the biggest shift for me was the funded account.
Of course.
But other than that, principles of trading, I think it was more so just, with the Astro education and stuff, it was just building on what I already had.
Of course. That's good to hear, man. Like, a lot of people, they don't understand that transition. Like you were just saying there, like £10-15 on the £500 was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
But then £10-15, just because the size of the account, the capital that is being used is larger, that now, it's just a fraction.
Yeah.
But sticking to the same trades, overall, should give you the same results,
Yeah.
right? But the overall result of monetary value will probably be higher.
Increasing, for sure.
And to hear the transition. Now, I'll be honest. Did you feel ready? Did you feel ill prepared before joining? Because a lot of people do. A lot of people before they join, they say, "I'm not quite ready.
Yeah.
Right? I don't feel ready.
Yeah.
I need to do this first. I need to do that first."
Yeah.
But I believe, just with like we were talking about with the Instagram thing, taking action.
Yeah. That's it.
And did you feel the same way? Before you joined, did you feel like, okay, maybe I'm not right there yet, right?
Yeah.
How long have you been in the market? Just over a year now, right?
Just over a year.
So did you say yourself to that? Because I know we hear a lot of people trading 5 years, 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Was that something that maybe tried to pull you back? Obviously, I know you're the action taker, so
Yeah.
that's why you're here now.
Yeah. So, I mean, when I first got into it, the first thing I told myself was, I'm ready. I'm just going to wait for, after all the accounts and stuff are set up, to just dive right into the education. I'm ready, go on the charts and trade. And in my first month, I went into heavy drawdown.
Yeah.
And I think that's when I took a step back and went, what's going wrong here? I'm not quite getting it, because I was kind of hit and miss when I was trading by myself, but all of a sudden now I've come. Why am I just losing trades? Out of 10 trades, I'd lose 9.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, what's going on? But then I realised that the education itself was completely different for what I've been learning. Like, don't get me wrong, you need the foundations, but the way of looking at the market had completely changed for me. So for me, it was as if I was learning trading from scratch all over again.
Yeah.
And I had to get used to that. But again, I went in with the same mindset of, if you don't start now, then you're going to start, a month in, 2 months in, and you guys aren't going to say, why haven't you started? Or
That's right.
you're just going to encourage me more, because that's basically what you guys do. But for me, it was more about, like you say, taking that action, because the only way that you can learn and improve is from your mistakes.
That's right.
So when I went into that heavy drawdown, I sat down with Joe and I was like, right, I've recorded all my trades. I'm not too sure what went wrong. Let's assess it. And we went through our monthly call, and he assessed all the trades, and he goes, right, I've pulled up your trades here. Can you tell me what's wrong?
Yeah.
And I think that was the first step to me actually taking control of my own portfolio, as opposed to looking to Joe to say, I've messed up these trades. What am I doing wrong?
Yeah.
But flipped it on myself and said, okay, I messed up these trades. Joe's here to help, but what am I doing wrong?
That's right.
So it's more, again, taking that accountability of what do I need to do to improve on this account and basically get out of drawdown.
100%. Yeah. No, I'm glad to hear it. And it's a big, powerful thing you just said there, self-accountability. A lot of people, with trading, it's 100% necessary to be able to progress as a trader. But a lot of people don't do it in their general life. As I'm sure we see a lot of, people who, we were just talking about, people who are unhappy in a job, and then they don't quit, but they have the account, they have to be self-accountable. They don't want to quit at the end of the day.
Exactly.
They don't know what to do next.
Yeah.
Same with this though, with trading, a lot of people have those bad trades, and they're not accountable to themselves to at least work out why they went wrong. And to hear the progress, and I know that Joe is really big on the psychology aspect and to help you develop as an independent trader, because at the end of the day, the trading is the results are only going to come from what you do, right? Yeah. And I know Joe's really big on that, and I'm sure obviously you've probably seen that, and we've seen that in the webinars that we do as well. Yeah. And how have you found the education? So as you said, you learned from scratch essentially.
Yeah.
How did you find the education then when you went through that?
The first time I went through the entire education, I was just mind blown. I had to take an hour or two just to sit there and go, what have I just actually learned? I was like, what was that? But the reason was because I didn't realize how simple it is to look at the markets. Yeah. I was looking at all these things like moving averages and just adding a ton of indicators on. Yeah. And I went through the whole stochastic and MACD and etc. etc. But then going through the education that Sean's put for the Astro course, he's put that together. It's really as simple as support and resistance. Yeah. It's just understanding how the market works. Yeah. And for me, I think the biggest thing for me was realizing how simple it is and how complicated I was making it, which is why the first month I went into drawdown, because I was trying to use the trading knowledge I had from before I joined Astro to when I did join Astro, and I was trying to kind of merge the two together, which didn't really work. And I think the biggest realization for me after watching through the education was it's simple, but simple doesn't necessarily mean easy. Something that you still need to practice day in, day out. So I mean, it was revolutionary to say the least for me. You know,
I'm glad to hear it. We get similar feedback because a lot of people struggle with where to enter. You know, clear place to enter, where to set the stop, and where to set the take profit. And what I believe in the feedback we've gotten from the Astro 2.0 and Sean's strategy is that it gives you those precise, sort of clean, where to enter, where to set your stop, where to set your take profit, or multiple targets. And I think that's a very powerful thing with trading. The clearer we can have it, the more simple we can have it, the cleaner we can have it when it comes to chart work, the better it is. Because it's just like when in our environment, right? If we had loads of mess here, we would probably be distracted. We'd probably we might not be able to speak as clearly because we'd probably be distracted by what's going around us. But the cleaner we can have our space, the cleaner we can have our charts, and same with like the community, right? The same with like the traders, and this is what I found, anyways. By having people like-minded, by having hand-selected people where they have applied for the program, and we know exactly what they want to achieve, their goals, their experience so far. Do they have a sort of toxic mindset or not? So we can hand select them for the program, so that the people around each other are the right kind, right? So we don't have that sort of clutter in a sense. And I don't know, have you felt the same way with obviously, you know, I think we were in a webinar yesterday, right?
Yesterday.
And I just saw this good gel of people, of everyone looking to achieve the same thing. And have you felt the same way?
100%. I mean, and that is one of the big things that I didn't realize after joining in the course. You know, once we started having the webinars and stuff, you kind of get a little bit like, you know, there's 80 people on the call and I'm looking, but then everyone's got the same mindset. Everyone's working towards the same goals, and you know, when we talk in our groups, most people will be completely transparent and say, I didn't have a really good week today.
That's right.
And others will say, I had a fantastic week. But no one will kind of put down the person who's had a bad week. Someone will put their hand up, and turns out there's 10 other people that didn't have a good week. And, you know, having like-minded people really helps get you through those sort of times, because, you know, like we talked about, trading can be a lonely game. So although you trade by yourself, mindset-wise and keeping sane, I guess, having other traders to talk to, that's a massive thing. So I think that's one thing I've loved about the community that we've got with the Accelerated members is
100%.
They've got the same mindset, and everyone's kind of working towards the same goal, but in their own way.
In their own way, right. So that's what it's like. It's like trading independently, but we're growing as a group. We're growing as a fund. But we are trading independently at the end of the day. And I'm really glad to hear that. I'm really glad to hear that you're enjoying it, that you've transitioned well, and just keep that energy. I know that you will, because I know that it's always there.
That's it.
Just off topic. We're going to touch on this, and then we're probably going to finish up. Off topic. I know you have a lot of skills, and obviously you're going to have your Instagram set. So I want you to take a moment just to say, you know, what you do. Obviously you have your Monday motivation. You have your. I'll let you do it.
No, that's all good. So so on my Instagram, you know, I've got my Monday motivations. I've very cringily called them Manny's Monday motivations. And I remember I used to get a lot of stick for that at the start. You know, people would laugh at me like, "Oh, Manny's Monday motivations," and now it's become a thing.
That's right.
You know, I've got people saying, "It's Monday. I can't wait to see the next video coming out." Right. You know, it's become a thing that people are just waiting for now. And it's like we were talking about before. You know, you kind of start thinking to yourself, "I need to look good. I need X, Y, and Z." But when you go and just do it, and people look at it and they go, you know, he's providing value. Because I've had messages from people that have literally said to me, because of your video, I changed what I was doing today. Because of your video, I changed my perspective. I took action. And just these little things, for me, rather than the likes or the comments or the shares or, you know, the whole social media stuff, that goes out of the window, and I'm like, I've actually impacted someone's life.
That's it.
So it's something that I'm constantly going to continue to do, is Manny's Monday Motivations. If you've got a fancy name for Tuesdays, maybe we can go twice a week. We'll think of one for sure. But yeah, I'm also a magician as well, so I've got a separate Instagram page for that. And I'm sure you know.
I'll put them all in the description.
Awesome, 100%. Yeah. So,
but you're also a good artist.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even realise.
Yeah. So
you got too many skills.
I'm a jack of all trades.
The skills pay the bills. Is that what they say,
that's it, exactly. So I'm an artist as well. I'm self-taught since I was like 4 years old.
Amazing.
It's just something that I got into. It's one of those things. A lot of people have said it's natural talent, and to a certain extent it is. But I've again my curiosity's always led me down the path of I want to learn as much as I can.
Master something, right?
And by default, I ended up falling into realism. And one thing that I started doing, obviously, I post my drawings up and stuff. But then I started doing time lapses because I got a lot of people telling me that's not a drawing. I think that's just a picture you take. And I genuinely took that as a compliment. So I'm like, wow, it's actually
that's exactly the same thing.
Yeah. So I started doing the time lapses, and I found people started loving that a lot as well. So yeah, anytime I do a new drawing, I end up posting the final piece. I end up posting the time lapse. Make a cool edit of it, so it's all good and fun.
I'm looking forward to the next one.
Yeah. So
maybe it can be a picture of me and you from this interview.
Perfect. Perfect.
Man, no one's ever drawn me well. I went to South Korea and they drew me with.
It was a caricature.
No, they gave me female eyes. I don't know why.
Oh, right.
So I had like really like, I did, and I was like, this is not me.
Yeah.
So I had these really female. That's why I had the beard. I had a ponytail as well. So I had these female eyes. So maybe I don't know. I had another one once as well. Was that one of those cartoon ones?
Yeah.
Man. So hopefully yours will be better.
I'll try a bit of pressure. I'll go more for a realism kind of thing. Rather than Riz is going to bash it.
Super large. Super large kind of super.
It's all good.
Man. But hey, thank you very much for coming down.
I appreciate it.
I know you've got a journey. We're going to have a Nando's.
We're going to have a
Nando's. And then, the sun just disappeared.
I know.
I just heard thunder.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you get to enjoy London, a sunny day in London.
That's
but
okay.
I'm sure you'll be back.
Yeah.
Keep up the good energy. Keep up the good work as well.
Thank you.
And we'll just finish off there. So all of Manraj's Instagrams and details will be in the description. And we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you very much for tuning in.